Can you guys hear me?
Hello guys. Yeah, sorry, I was in the background trying to set up the YouTube and stuff. Yeah, so I'm Alex Moniki, the cybersecurity lead at the University of Embu. Yeah, so with us today we have Titus, who is the Flutter lead at Karatina University, and I guess it's now how will I call it, a trio. Yeah, it's not three schools. So yeah, so it's our fourth week of Flutter, where we're going to learn about authentication with Firebase, and you're all welcome. The team from Karatina University, the Dankimali University of Embu feel welcomed, and yeah, maybe Titus can say hi. Thank you.
Titus. Okay, so I can see it's already 8:10. So Titus, I don't know if you're around so that you can start. I hope I am audible from your end. Alex.
Yeah, you're audible.
Oh, nice. So I think we can be starting then. Yeah, thank you. So Titus says he needs some few minutes. I think he will introduce himself when we finish the presentation, because it's now 1 minute past 2010, and I wanted us to start. So I'll share my screen. Okay, okay, okay. So it's okay. Nice, nice. Okay. Can you confirm if my screen is visible from your side?
Yeah, it's visible.
Nice, nice, nice. So, guys, welcome to this session. Today, we are going to talk about a powerful platform or a tool called Firebase, and it's like a norm. It's like a, I don't know how to call it, but uh, a Flutter developer must at least know how to use Firebase. Uh, and like almost every, not almost, actually every Flutter developer should be at least familiar with doing stuff with Firebase. Uh, Firebase is a product of Google, and if you remember, we said Flutter is a new UI framework by Google to create beautiful multi-platform applications from a single code. So both products are from Google, and they offer, like, they are intertwined in how they operate. That is, it is easy to set up your backend with Firebase from a application, and Google has really made it easy for us to do that, because as you will see, when you are configuring your application with Firebase Flutter app, you're given special tools, like besides uh, uh, different from other developers from other technologies, to make it easier for you to add Firebase application. We'll see that in a few. And I think I'll start. We have said that Firebase is a platform for building mobile and web applications easily. I'll pull up the Firebase website. Firebase. So if you want to check the Firebase website, you just search for Firebase, and then I think the first result should give you what we want. Let's see. Uh-huh. I don't know why this is taking a bit long. But basically, what Firebase does is maybe you've ever wondered, have you ever wondered like where data goes? Like, let's say you're using an application like Instagram, maybe. You have to log in, put in your email, password, and then it loads, and then you are in. Okay. That data is sent somewhere for you, and even if you log in your details from another person's device or in a cyber cafe or in like any place, your data is accessible to you. So there is something that is responsible for storing and making sure that it is you who is accessing the data. And yeah, basically that what makes a backend. Okay. Yeah, and then because as we have seen, Flutter by itself is a UI framework. We have created some UIs in the last in the past few weeks, and but then they not been complete because everything we have been like hard coding it. The houses we made, the cars, and all those UIs we made, we were just local assets. Okay, but in a real world application, all those things are not bundled application. Okay, see, they are fetched from somewhere, like the images load from some database, the data from some database. We have things like authentication from some authentication provider, and creating that, and all that can be created in different ways. We have programming languages for creating backends. We have Django, that is Python. We have Node.js from JavaScript, Golang. We have CH and all those. But now, because we have learned that we are creating Flutter applications, there is no need to learn another programming language so that you can create a back, like organizing all those media, the data, the authentication, and that's where Firebase basically comes in. So Firebase has built all of that, and it has bundled them together, and then it just provides you with packages or plugins with a few methods that you just have to learn how to use them, and then it's like plug and play. Like you don't have to know anything else, like where all that data is going, who is using the data, how it is being stored. That is like none of your business. You just know how to use these methods to plug into Firebase, and then you're done. So we'll quickly go through the products that Flutter gives us. So we have the build products like Cloud Firestore. Cloud Firestore is a database that helps you to like store all that data regarding your users. That is their names, their things like their phone numbers, the emails, everything, like any data that you want to save to a database. You save it to Cloud Firestore, which is provided by Firebase. Then we have things like authentication. So when I click on authentication, we have the sign-in methods. Like maybe you've interacted with an application where you're told where you have sign in with Gmail. So you click on that, and then you just confirm your email and you are in. Okay, so that is among the providers that Firebase gives you under their Firebase authentication package. Yeah, it is easy sign in on any platform. They have things like sign in with Google, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, sign in with phone number, email, password, and all those stuff. And yeah, it is so fast to implement, as we will see today. Apart from authentication, also Firebase offers hosting, like here. So you can create your web application. Remember, we said Flutter is a cross-platform framework. So you can create your web apps and then host them for in Firebase. Okay, and I think it is their free tier allows you to host your application for free. and then maybe when the traffic grows, you can now buy your own domain and continue building on top of that. They also offer storage. That is where the media, that is the audio, the videos, the images in your application can be stored. Other things that they offer is analytics and crashlytics. That is where you monitor your application, like how it is performing, any issues that it is having, which users are having some crashes in the application, and all that. And finally, okay, like not finally, but another major product of Firebase is cloud messaging, whereby you can send push notifications to your users. You can have in-app messages, you can have push notifications being sent to your users, maybe to remind them of something, like let's say you have an offer, you want to retain your customers. Okay, you basically know how notifications work, because I believe all applications have notifications. Okay, yeah, so that is one feature that Firebase provides us. And that is an overview of Firebase. It is a really nice tool to have in your resume as a Flutter developer, because it helps you build an app end to end. Like, you don't have to know how any backend language so that you can create your application. You just create the UI, then plug in Firebase, and yeah, you are done. Another advantage of this is that it gives you a shorter time to build your prototype. Like, let's say you are thinking of an application, you have an idea and you want to like actualize it within a few within a limited time. You can just use Firebase, create the UI with Flutter, plug in Firebase, and demonstrate your product like easily. uh, I think after this lesson, after this class, we will all be at some point whereby you can create full stack applications with Flutter and Firebase. And yeah, so with that being said, let's see how we'll do it. So the first thing, uh, anyone who has a Gmail account, and I believe all of us have them, you're given, I mean, Firebase is already, you are already allocated some Firebase console account. So what you do is, after you've arrived at this page, you'll see this go to console button. So when you click on it, it will take you to your console. Yours will be empty, like at that time, because maybe you have not created any project with Firebase. For me, I have several projects. You can see I have around 45 projects here. And yeah, so let's create a new project. So this is where you create a new project, and you provide the name of the project. So I'll give this project a name. Let's say Firebase tutorial. So a Firebase project is whereby you will link, I mean, it's like a provision for you to link all your applications under one project. So that is why we create a Firebase project. So if you have some applications that are related, let's say you're creating something like a delivery system, whereby you have your clients' apps, and then you have those people who are delivering. You want to create an app for them, but you want all those apps that are related to use the same database. So how do you do? You create a Firebase project, and then you'll add all those applications there in the same Firebase project. So I'll click on continue. It is asking me to enable Google Analytics. So I'll leave this on, then I'll click on continue. Configure Google Analytics. I'll select default account for Firebase. Then I'll click on create project. Okay, so this will take some time. I really hope it goes fast so that we continue. So as you will see, it is all applications that you can create that you want them to be related in terms of storing data together, in terms of sharing data. You can create them under the same Firebase project. Okay. Yeah, so our project is ready, so I'll click on continue. And then when I click on that, it will open this console inside our project. So this is our project. And then over here on the left, on this left panel, is where you'll see all those features that we have talked about. They are categorized into four major categories. We have the build. Under the build, we have the authentication, Firestore database, the storage, the hosting, remote configuration, and this ML and functions stuff. Then the second category is releasing and monitoring, whereby we have the Crashlytics, the analytics, app distribution, release monitoring and stuff. There's also some testing and performance lab. And then the third category is analytics. The analytics is where now you see how your app is performing, which screens are being visited a lot, which buttons have been clicked. You can set all of that in your application, and then you'll be viewing it here. We have the real-time analytics. I hope you guys can see this. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, like this. So I was at analytics. Yeah, so the analytics, you can look at them here, the releases, like how many people have updated your app, and all those information can be viewed here. And the last category is engaging, how you engage your users, how you test the A/B testing. A/B testing is whereby you have a feature you want to test on a small group of your users. So you can release one version to them, and then they can give their feedback. You can see how it's performing without affecting the larger user base. You have the messaging, whereby now you send your in-app notifications or your push notifications to your users. The remote config, add mob. When you have ads in your application, you can come and monitor them over here. And yeah, so basically those are all the tools. As you can see, this is like a complete solution for your application. Like it's a whole backend solution for your application. When you just know how to create your app with Flutter, and then you know like the major products of Firebase to connect to your application, I think you are unstoppable at that point, because now your product, you'll create your product from end to end. The UI, the backend, the authentication, storage, everything, and up to monitoring and even hosting your application. And yeah, so without wasting much time, let's go to adding your Flutter application. As I was saying, you can see here when you want to add your application. Let me zoom out this just a little bit. Yeah. So when you want to add your Flutter app, to add Firebase to your Flutter application, like some few days ago, this one was there. This option was not there, like the Flutter special option. We just had these four options. That is the iOS, the Android, the web, and the Unity. This is for game developers. But there was like a real hassle whereby you had to like create these uh, individual applications under this Firebase project, and then you do your the configurations manually. Like if it's an iOS, you come here, you create this application here, and then there is a file that you are given. Then you go to your code and add that file, then run an iOS version, and I mean an iOS application version for your app, and then you will see if the configuration is successful or not. And then you do the same for Windows, I mean for Android and for web. But now I think Firebase and Flutter realize that since you want all this in a single code base, there is no need for Flutter developers doing all of this, like these manual configurations. So they included these, they introduced this Flutter option, whereby they have a CLI, a command line interface, that just gives us, basically it's just two commands. It's as simple as two commands, and your Flutter will be automatically connected to your Firebase project, as we'll see in a few. And I think that is a very great advantage because it saves Flutter developers time to connect Firebase to their applications. I think I'll now click on this. Yeah, so there is a series of steps that you are supposed to follow. I hope there is no question up to that point, uh, and I hope I'm not moving too fast. Yeah. So if you have anything, you can just unmute anytime that you feel, or just type in the chat. I'll be checking it regularly to get your feedback. Okay, so this is how we add our Flutter. We add Firebase to our Flutter application. And the easiest way, they have stated here that the easiest way to get you started is to use this Flutterfire CLI. So a CLI, this CLI is basically a command line interface or a command line application that helps us to to configure Firebase to our Flutter applications. And the only prerequisite for this is that you must have this CLI installed in your environment. That is, if you are on Windows or Linux or Mac, you just have to have this Flutterfire installed. And then anytime that you will be adding any Flutter application, you will be needing only these two commands, this and this, only that. Okay. So I'll go through installing this Flutterfire CLI first, because this is like a one-time thing. Like if you do this successfully for the first time, the next times you'll just be jumping to here. You just have to copy these two commands in your terminal, and you are done, basically, because from this is just importing the created files. So this is, like, you can see how they have simplified the process to as simple as only these two commands. Yeah. Those who are here and have tried to add Firebase to the applications using this old method, they know how it is a hassle to follow these steps, because you have to fill in these details, your package name, your name, and then you download these config files. Then you add the Firebase SDK. There is a place where they have provided for you to add those, and then now you run your applications and then test if it will crash. If it crashes, Firebase has not been added. But using this Flutterfire CLI, it is like a sure bet. Like it's 99% sure that your application will run, not unless there are any special errors that you are specifically facing. But be assured, if you use this Flutterfire CLI, it will be like a very smooth sail, as we will see in a few. So when it is your first time, you have to install this CLI. So you'll click on this link, the Firebase CLI. So I'll click on it. Then it will bring you to this website whereby you install the CLI as per your operating system. We have Windows, macOS, or Linux. And for Windows, let's say you are on Windows. Myself, I'm on Linux, but we'll use this Windows because I know like most of you are on Windows. So for Windows, you have these two options. You can add it as a standalone binary or using npm. Those who have interacted with any JavaScript, they know about npm. That comes from the node environment. Yeah. So npm, I really encourage you to go this npm way because it's easier. Like you don't have to download the standalone binary and then you execute it using a shell. You just have to have this npm installed, and then you will come to this npm tab over here and install the Firebase CLI with this command. So if you want to install npm, you need to install Node. So you'll just come to the Node.js official website, ama you just click on this link over here, this Node.js, and it will bring you to this Node.js website. Let's see, yeah, over here. and then you will download the one that fits you. I think this is the LTS. Isn't there a place to select the operating system? I don't know. So let's click on this and see. Oh, wow, wow. Let's try again. So, okay, I don't know why this is not displaying anything. Is the Node.js site down? Ama nini inaendelea hapa? Let's go to the downloads tab. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is it. So you'll click on this downloads and it will bring you somewhere here. Then you'll download this Windows installer, the MSI file. This one is just when you download this, you'll just click on it and then it will take you through the steps of installing Node.js. And when it's done, Node.js itself automatically comes in with the npm, the package manager for Node. Okay, so that will give you now this npm command that will help you to install the Flutterfire CLI. So this one. So okay, so we are here. We are here. So we are seeing that now you have npm in your system. You'll just have to run this command: npm install Firebase tools. And when you're done, you will then log in, Firebase login with your account. In it, you already have it in your system, and then you're done. If you want to confirm that it has successfully logged in, you have this command, projects list. It will list down your projects, and maybe you will have created one project that you will test with. The project will appear in your command line system. So for me, we can test with mine. So I'll just pull up my terminal, and then I will run Firebase projects list. So that this is what will you'll run to confirm that Firebase has successfully been installed. The Flutterfire CLI has been successfully installed. The command is Firebase project list. So let's see if mine will give me anything. It's supposed to. Okay. Projects. Oh, I missed an S. It's supposed to be projects, not project. Many. Okay, let's see. So it's preparing the list of base projects, and yeah, you can see all my projects over here as a table. So if you have successfully installed Firebase and you have logged in, it is supposed to give you the list, your project. You can therefore create just one project before you install this, and then you go ahead and install these Firebase tools over here using the npm. And when you list, you'll see that aspect that you've created, and you will successfully confirm that Flutterfire CLI is in your system. Okay. I hope there is no question up to that point, because I'm going to proceed to the next. So here they are saying that the first step before you continue, make sure you have Firebase CLI installed, and we have seen how to install that. The next thing is installing the Flutter SDK. I think we all have this installed. If you have been developing anything with Flutter, you already have the SDK installed. And the third thing is to create a Flutter project. Now, the project that you want to link with Firebase, because you cannot proceed linking if you don't have a Flutter project. So again, I'll bring up my terminal and create a project. Okay, so I'll do Flutter create. Let's name it a Firebase test. Firebase test. I'll click on enter, and it's creating the project. I can also see there is a new Flutter version available, but I will update that later. So all done. So my application is created, so I'll just cd into it. Firebase. Okay, I'm gonna have to type all of it. Firebase cd Firebase underscore test. Okay, so I am inside my project, then I'll open VS Code inside it. Nice and easy. So now we are here, we are here at the third step, whereby we are now creating a Flutter project, the one that we will link Firebase with. So this is VS Code inside my Flutter project. So I'll maximize this. Okay, so this is like a new Flutter project, like the one that we have interacted with uh, previously, and it is the one that now we want to add the Firebase. To configure Firebase with. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next step, uh, the one that we have been given. So they're saying that from any directory, you run this command, this .pub global activate flutterfire CLI, this one. So I'll copy it and come to VS Code and then open the terminal. So if you want to open the terminal, there's a terminal option over here. Click on new terminal. And, yeah, over here you'll see this terminal. Let me increase the font size of this terminal just a moment, so that it will be visible to terminal font size. So let's do 20. Yeah, I hope. Okay, let's do 22. I hope that will be visible to like everybody, so that it will be easier to follow along. So as I have told you, like uh, you basically when you want to connect this Flutter application, this one you will already have done all of this, like the number one, all this in number one, because installing Firebase CLI is just a one-time thing. Installing the Flutter SDK is a one-time thing. Creating a Flutter project, of course, that you'll do before you add this. So you'll just be coming here to the number two option and copying this activate command. Then you come to your terminal and you paste the command. Then I'll click on enter. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's done. You can see here it says it has activated Flutterfy CLI version this, and there are some logs over there. Don't worry about that. The next thing is to copy the next command. But before I do that, there is this export function. If you are on Linux, maybe you will see this export path home or whatever. It's like setting an environment variable. But if you are on Windows, you don't have to do this. So for me, I'll just copy and execute this export. I don't know why it does not set it as global in my in my machine. But if you are on Windows, this is not a must. You should not like you'll not have this. Uh, you'll not have to do this. So I'll just paste this. Okay, so let's clean something up a little bit. Yeah. So I'll have to export this. Okay, then I'll copy the next command. This one is now for configuring your online project, the one that you have created in your Firebase console, to your project locally. So I'll paste this, and then you'll see a series of actions going on. Let me first clear the terminal and make this a little bit big so that you'll see what is going on. So once I click on enter, you'll see some actions going on. So the first thing is fetching available Firebase projects. Okay. After it finishes fetching, it will select project Firebase tutorial, the one that we have created, and it's the one that this second command is carrying to specify that the project is specifically this project is specifically the one that will hold our Flutter project. Then this is asking you for the platform. So which platforms should your configuration support? So you're supposed to use arrow keys and space to select. Like now we are on Android. So if I click on arrow down, it will go to the iOS. And if I want the iOS, I'll click on space. If I don't want it, if I don't want it, I'll click on space to uncheck it. And but if I want it, I'll just click on space. So the ones that are checked are the ones that you want. In this case, it has come with all of them checked. So you just have to select the one that you don't want. So let's say we just want Android and iOS. We don't want the macOS and the web. So I'll scroll. So the one that is marked blue is the one that you're supposed to select. So let's click on space to unselect macOS. Then click on the arrow down to go to web, and then a space to unselect web. When you're done, you click on enter. So oh no, let's also include web. Yeah, so we have just left, we have only left out macOS. We have Android, iOS, and web selected. So I'll click on enter. And the next thing is it will fetch all the Android uh, apps that are not registered, and then it will register this one. No, like it is registering a new Android app in the Flutter tutorial project. After doing this, it will go to iOS, then it will register a new iOS app to Flutter tutorial project. As you can see down here, yeah, so it's registering our iOS app, and then it will finally register the web app also, and we'll be done. Like that is all the configurations that we need to have in our. So you can see how simple it is. With just these two commands, you'll be able to add your Flutter application to add Firebase in your Flutter application to configure, and you'll be done basically. So what this will yeah, so you can see it's done. The Firebase configuration file lib Firebase options.dat has been generated successfully following Firebase apps. So we have our web, our Android, and our iOS, and their IDs over here. So this file, it will be generated automatically. So you can see there is this Firebase options file that has been created automatically. Let me have this font just a little bit bigger. So I'll do 20. Okay. So there is this file, the Firebase options file, and it contains all of these checks. Like it checks our project, which platform our project, and then it will run these configurations depending on the platform. So this is the web, this is the Android, you can see this Android and the iOS configurations. And the configurations are the API keys, the app IDs, project IDs, sender for the storage, and all this information. And we don't have to like do all this manually. As you can see, this has been auto-generated. Actually, you are not even supposed to touch this file or edit it. It's just supposed to be there. But you can see it has an error because we have to have this package Firebase core in project. So we'll add Firebase core. So I'll just have Control Shift and P. Then I will type that add dependency. This one, you select the first one, then you enter the name. So the name is Firebase underscore core. Okay, so that is how you add a package easily from pub.dev. Otherwise, you can just come to pub.dev over here, pub.dev, then you search for the package that is Firebase core. Firebase core, click on enter, this one, and then you copy the package name and the version over here using this icon. You copy, and then you come to the pubspec.yaml file, click down here and then paste it over here. So you can see we have already done that. That's why it's appearing here directly. Yeah, so you can see now that all the errors are gone and everything is okay. What's left of us is to run this application, and if Firebase has been successfully configured in our application, it will run automatically. Okay, before we run, sorry, I forgot that thing. So what you have to do next in your main, let me click on next here. So in your main function, you have to have options. I mean, this await statement. Don't forget about this. So this is basically like passing these options to our main.dat. Remember, we said this void main is the function that runs our application. Remember, so if you have to initialize Firebase, you have to do it before our app is ran. Okay, so we have to have this initialize app method. I don't think this is a big of a deal, so I'll just copy it and then I'll paste it here. So it needs is await, so it is an asynchronous function. So I'll just have a sync. Okay, then I will import the Firebase core. So it needs you to import the Firebase core package, the one that we just added, and then you have to import these options over here, just like that. So this await statement, it makes sure that Firebase is initialized before running our application. Okay, and one last thing is something we call widgets binding, and widgets binding is like a communication between Flutter, the framework, to our fonts, like the native platform. You have to make sure it is also initialized. We do it like this. So widgets Flutter binding dot ensure initialize. This one is like a lot of people forget this many times. You just add this initialize Firebase and then you run your application, and then it will tell you that something was called before some binding is done. So remember to have this line of code. It's just one line of code. Widgets binding dot ensure initialized, and then you have this initialize app for Firebase, and then you run your application. So let's run our application, and if it is successful, if Firebase has been added successfully, we are supposed to our app is supposed to run. I don't know why this one is misbehaving. Yeah. Okay, so I'll expand this a little bit and then I'll bring up Visa so that I can mirror my phone very quickly. So meanwhile, anyone who has a question, I'll be checking from the chat section. Yeah, I can see everything is all good. Yeah, so we've seen how to, I think I can run, okay, let me first run the app and then I'll be going through the process once again. So let me connect my device. As the app will be building, I'll be going through the process just one more time so that it will be easier. Yeah, so I have connected my device, then I'll select it, then I'll place it over here. Okay, so this is my actual phone I have connected, then I've mirrored it here using Visa. Visa is a software for mirroring your mobile application on your screen. Okay, so let me unlock it real quick. Okay, so sorry. Right. Okay, so let's see how this goes. So I will directly run the application. So start debugging, and yeah, it will start building and installing the application. So let me run through the process again for one more time. So the first thing that we did was to create a new a new Firebase project. So you'll come to this interface over here. That is firebase.google.com. you'll see this add project. So you'll create a project, give it a name, enable analytics, and then it will load, and your project will be created like this. So I'll click on it, and then for now, as you can see, our apps have already reflected in the console. When I click on this, you'll see there are three: the web, the iOS, and the Android. Remember, we ignored the macOS application. That's why it's not being shown here. But these ones have already shown this interface. But when you create a new project, you'll see like three icons. That is the Unity, the Android, iOS, Web, Unity, and Flutter icon. So you'll click on the Flutter icon, but for our case, you can just click on Add App. If you want to add another app, yeah, you'll see something like this. All this, but for us, you just select Flutter. Then we have said that we need the Firebase CLI. So this is a link for for installing this CLI in your system. So when you click it, it will bring you to something like this. Then you'll come to the NPM option. We have said we don't want to go with this binary option. Let's just use the NPM. And for NPM, you need this Node.js environment to be in your system. So you'll install Node.js, and then NPM will be in your command line or terminal automatically. Node.js just comes with this NPM. Then you'll run NPM install these Firebase tools, and yeah, the CLI will be installed. And then the last thing that you want to do is Firebase to log in into your project. I mean, into your Firebase console, so that there can be that communication of fetching and listing your projects, as you see using this command, Firebase project list. If the login is successful and everything, you'll see that project that you've created as a list down here. And yeah, Firebase CLI will be installed successfully in your system. We already have the Flutter SDK installed, and then you have already created a new Flutter project that you want to link. Then you'll now just come here direct to the add, to these two commands. So you'll copy this, run it in your terminal, and then come and copy this, the next one, run in your terminal. It will create automatically. As you can see here, this automatically registers your platform apps with Firebase and adds a Firebase options configuration file to your project automatically. Like as you've seen, we have not done anything. All of these are done automatically. And then you want to make sure that Firebase is initialized before the run up method. So you'll copy this and paste it before your run up method over here. This, the one that we have here. And then we have this widgets binding that were initialized. So this one, I don't know if you'll write this down so that you'll remember it, but the more you do it, the more you'll just it will just be coming. Like the more you do it, the more it will be easier for you not to forget it. But yeah, you just need it so that communication between Flutter and your native system will be like enabled. And then you're done. The next step is just to go back to the console and refresh, and your apps will appear here. Then you can start now building with the solutions that we saw over here. Where is this? Okay, I have refreshed the page. From there now you can start building with these solutions that you saw over here. That is the Firestores, you can add your authentication, you can add the database, the storage, hosting, and blah, blah, blah. But your apps will appear here, the ones that you have selected in the command line. So this one is still building. Yeah, it's built. So fingers crossed. I hope that it will run like from the first shell. But with Firebase CLI, it is so direct. Like I have not encountered any issues when using Firebase. Okay. Yeah, so this is just the counter app that is created like sijaguza anything, it's just that. And yeah, our app is running, and if it runs successfully, you can see Firebase has already been configured to application. We can now start importing the packages for specific things like authentication and use them. From the logs, you can see there was the device is unlocked and then initializing all Firebase APIs for app. You can see this one ran before our app was running. That is because we have placed it over our run app. If I may bring this down a little bit, you can see the initialization comes before our app starts running. So if you see this initializing all Firebase APIs for app, and then your app runs, meaning Firebase has been successfully initialized. Okay, so I hope there is no question up to that point. That is how we add Firebase with just 2 commands from Flutter. Let's see. Yeah, it's a pretty simple process basically. But for other, if you are on web, you'll see you have to go through all these steps to add. These ones you register, you set hosting you want, you add the SDK and all those stuff. For native Android developers also, it is like all these steps you have to include your bundle name, your app name, you have this signing certificate key, download the config file. For our case, you can see for Android, like Kitambo, when you are using, when that Flutterfly CLI was not there, you are having this inside the Android app, this one, Google Services JSON, you are creating it manually and then you're coming and placing it over here yourself. But the CLI has just configured that automatically for us. And same for us, you have these inside the runner, you have these Google Service info plist, one that carries all this information, your app IDs and all this stuff, the API keys and all that. But with Flutterfly CLI, it's just an automatic process, adding and configuring our projects to Firebase. So since I can see there is no question up to that point, I think okay, you can see one. I got lost when you said we should click Control Shift P. Control Shift P. Yeah, so that one is needed to, like, if you want to add a package from pub.dev. There are numerous ways. If your previous session, you remember we said there are numerous ways to add packages to our application from pub.dev. Pub.dev is the online repository for all our Flutter packages and plugins. This one, pub.dev. This is where we come and search packages. Packages are like a set of pre-built code that helps you implement some features which have been implemented like before you. Okay, so you don't have to create them from scratch. So that's what basically packages are. So from pub.dev, if you want to add a package from here to your project, you can just search for the project. Like, let's say we wanted to add Firebase Core. Firebase Core. Okay. So then you scroll to the package that you want, and then you click on this copy icon, and then you go to your pubspec.yaml file and paste it over here. Okay, and then you click on this pub, or you run in a terminal flutter pub get, like flutter pub get. Okay, so that is one way to add a package. But instead of that, if you already know the name of that project, you can just click on Control Shift and P inside VS Code. Then in these options, you'll see the Dart dependency. You can just type in, because okay, it's appearing here because it's recently used. But if you have not used it again, you can just type Dart, then a colon, and then add. By the time you type add, you'll see that these three. you want to select this, the first one, the add dependency. So click on, and then you have to type in the package name. So in our case, it's Firebase underscore core, Firebase core, and then you select it like that. Then it will automatically run the Flutter pub add Firebase core command for us, and it will also add it to pubspec.yaml itself. So it's upon you now to decide which method that you want to use. But for myself, I use this Command Shift P, because with this you can also add numerous packages together. Like let's say, because we are moving next to authentication, and we want authentication and maybe Firebase storage package. So you can just have Control Shift and P, and then select add dependency. Then you can have let's say Firebase out. The package for authentication is Firebase out, and then comma Firebase storage, Firebase underscore storage, comma. Let's say you want another package like Cloud Firestore, Cloud underscore Firestore, 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 yeah, like that. So the advantage of this is that you can add all these packages directly, separating them with commas. And it will go fetch each one of them individually and place them for you in the pubspec.yaml. So let's run this, and you'll see how simple it will be. Yeah. Meanwhile, anyone with another question can be typing it. Again, I hope that is clear about adding the packages. It's still running. It's done. So when you go to pubspec.yaml, you'll see all those packages that you've added are here, like with their version numbers and everything. Another advantage of this method is that it will give the package numbers automatically. There are those packages that conflict with the package numbers. Basically, if one package is dependent on the other, and one is updated and one is not, so when you install them individually, they can have some conflict. But when you select that using Control Shift P, Flutter will pick for you the ones that are compatible, and it will add them in your pubspec.yaml. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that is clear, Emmanuel. So our topic today was adding Flutter to our application. I mean, Firebase to our Flutter application, and then we were to try a simple authentication with it. So I'll quickly jump back to the documentation. Where is this? I hope there is no any other issue. So I'll just go back to my project. So these are projects. So let's go to the build and then the authentication feature. Okay, so with Firebase, there are numerous sign-in methods that it offers. So click on get started. It offers from simple email password sign-in to adding all these providers. That is sign in with Google, sign in with all these socials, the Facebook, Microsoft, Twitter, Yahoo, and all this. I'm sure you've come across applications that you need to authenticate with any of these, and mostly Google, like whereby you just have your Google account, you click on it, a few loading here and there, and then you are in, basically. And the traditional email password, everyone has at least had email password sign in somewhere. Yeah, so we are going to use this email sign-in, and you'll see how simple it is to implement this to our Flutter application using Firebase. If you want to use this, if you want to have this email password created using a custom backend, like let's say Django or Node.js. For those who have done a little bit of Node.js, they know that you have to create, you have to first of all choose your database, that is, let's say Mongo or MySQL, and then you have to create your server, let's say using Express. Then you specify the route for email password adding. Then you have to host it, and then you accept, and then you do all those validations, like make sure email is not used twice, make sure the password is strong enough, and all those things. Like it's a hassle. Like let's say from the Flutter developers perspective, it's easier to use Firebase because, as you will see, you don't need to know all of that when it comes to Firebase. You just need to know one method, just one method. Okay, so I'll click on this email password and enable it. So when you come to the docs, I'll just click on go to the docs, and let's see. It's bringing the docs for all the features. So I'll search for Ecoapi. Authentication, yeah, this is authentication. Flutter, get started. Okay, so you'll see that, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Password authentication. Yeah, this is password authentication. So let me click on password authentication. So you see that to a password-based account that with email and password, let me switch to dark mode. It is only this command, I mean method, create user with email and password. You just have to call Firebase out instance and then create user with email and password. And what do you need? Only two strings, the email and the password, and you're done. Okay. So with this, you have already created an account for with the given email and password. You just have to pass these two strings, and I'm pretty sure everyone can do that from Flutter. You don't need to care where this data will go. You don't need to care how this password will be validated. You don't need to care if they are using MongoDB or MySQL behind the scenes, or all those whatever the backend they are doing. Firebase just exposes you to this method. Create user with email and password. You just email and your password, and you're done. Then you have to like look at these exceptions. Maybe weak password, email already in use. That will be returned to you now in the error, this error E. File return it to you, and then you'll show it to the user. So basically, what you'll just do is have this method in your code, and yeah, you'll be good to go. Without much talk, let's do that in our application. I really hope there is no issue. Okay. So we have our main app. We have added this Firebase out package. You can see over here. This is Firebase out. Then yeah, we have main, and it's just the simple counter app that comes with a new Flutter project. So I'll just debug this. And, okay. I'll try to hurry up a little bit because I can see time is not on our side. And yeah, I wanted us to at least cover something with this. So you can see how simple it is, like to use Firebase instead of creating your own backend. So with methods like this, create user with email and password. There is sign in with email and password. That is for the login. There is the sign out method. It's just one method. Await Firebase out sign out. The user is signed out. You don't need to care how it is implemented by the Google servers. You are just exposed to these simple methods, and you are done. So your auth is very much simple to create. So let's see. It is running over here. Let's give it time. So guys, anyone with a question, anything, can just type it in the chat. I hope you are all together. Flutter mambo ni rahisi, kazi ni kucode. Yeah. You just have Flutter is like, okay, I told you every it's like a norm. Every Flutter developer must at least integrate Firebase in their applications, because you'll just think of it like this. You are a Flutter developer. A client approaches you like, I want you to create for me this app that I have this restaurant. I'll be posting the foods that are on offer, and then my users can see. So the user is not, that does not tell you like okay, not about even being told. The user doesn't know about the backend or the front end. They just saw that you create applications. So what do you do? Who is your closest friend in this case? Yeah, I hope you got it right. It's Firebase, because you can just create your applications like end to end, the front end, the back end. You also create his little admin application where you can be posting the foods. Then another user's application where you just have to fetch the information and show them, and then the solution is complete. You don't have to have a backend guy to create for you this backend stuff. Yeah, with Flutter, it's just as simple as that. Uh-huh. So we are waiting for this to run so that you can go on and create. I'll create some simple text fields for maybe the email, the name, the email, and the password. Okay, we have an error over here. Let's see. Oh yeah, multi-dex support is required because the number of methods has exceeded 64. So I'll add the multi-dex. So if you face something like this, saying the multi-dex support is required, you come to the Android folder, then the app folder, which is inside it, and then you'll see this build.gradle file just alongside the Google service JSON. So click on build.gradle, and then you scroll down to where we have something like this. Default config, the app ID is com.example.firebase test, the main SDK versions and stuff. So below all this, you have to add multi-dex enabled, then you set it to true. Yeah. So you when you face something like multi-dex support is required because the number of methods has exceeded 64K, you have to add this line over here. The file is when I close all folders, you'll come to Android, then you have the app, then this file build.gradle, then you scroll. For a new project like this will be on line 51. So you'll add your code on line 52. This one. If this file is untouched, like for a new project kama hii yenye tumecreate, so you'll add this multi-dex enabled true, set it to true. Yeah, I hope that will resolve the issue. So let me rerun the app again. And I hope this time there'll be no any issue, because I really wanted us to like cover the email password, at least the email password, and then you'll see how that method is used. Then from there you'll try to now cover. I mean, look at the one for logging in, but it's basically the same, almost the same. This one, the sign in with email and password. What we'll implement today is create user. Then if time allows, you can also sign in with email and password. And then in the probably the next lecture, we'll now dive into how we organize data to send it to Firebase backend, that is creating models and sending them to in an organized manner to our database in a simple way. But for now, I hope that was a good head start. So our app is successfully built. There are no errors. Watch I install. Yeah, that is how simple Firebase Flutter is. Okay. I don't know why this is taking a little bit. So it is it is uninstalling the older version, then it will install a fresh one. Aha, it's done. So I'll accept this and install. initializing Firebase APIs, then run app. Okay, so very quickly, I'll create a new file over here and I'll call it register page, register underscore page dot dash. Okay, it's an empty file. And then the first order of business is to import material, as you remember. Import package material. Then we'll create a stateful widget, stateful STFL. Then we'll name it register page. It will return a scaffold. Let's just return an empty scaffold for now. Yeah, so let's link this in our main. So I'll delete all of this. Okay, I'll do away with this. I'll remove these comments like that. So our home will be the register page, the one that we've just created. Okay, sorry, we have register page. I'm going a little bit fast here because we have already covered this numerous times. So this one needs const. Yeah, so if this, okay, this is where we had our run up function. We have initialized Firebase and we have confirmed that it is working. Then my app is now returning the material app, which gives us like a blueprint of the root. They call it the root of our application with the title, theme, and the home. So we have this register page, the one that we have created over here. It's just an empty scaffold, so I'll just save this. Yeah, we'll have this empty scaffold. And very quickly, we have the app bar, and the app bar will take in the title. I'll use for the UI because this is not the aim of our today's session. We have covered enough UI sessions. So the app bar is the register page. Let me just have this as register page. Then for the body, so what do you want? We want 3 text fields over here. Let's say the username. Then we have the email and the password, because remember our method from Firebase is requiring an email and password. So I'll have controllers, text controllers. So when we want to get texts, the content of a text field, the one that the user has entered, so that you can carry it to our buttons, ama mali, like you want to execute that command, use controllers. So you create a controller up here, you attach it to the text fields, and then where you want to use that text, let's say in the sign in button or the register button, you can now provide the text, that text inside those controllers at that button. So the first thing is I'll comment here is create controllers. So I'll basically have only 2 fields for the text fields. Yeah, the copilot is helping me over here. So I'll have final, the first one is email controller. You have to follow this closely. Email controller is equals to, it is a text editing controller. It is of type text editing controller, like that. So this is the email controller. I'll copy it and then I'll just create another one. So final password controller, sorry, controller, like that, is equals to text editing controller, like that. So I've created these 2 controllers, and before I can use them, I have to add them in the dispose method. So the dispose method is the one that is responsible for clearing those controllers once a user exits this page. Let's say now from this, your user will be taken to home page. But now, if you don't clear the text from those controllers, they'll be left in your memory. That is basically like adding some burden to your memory, the one that your app consumes. So it's good to clear those controllers. Okay. and you use the dispose method to like dispose of those controllers. And this is how we write the dispose. You just type dis. You'll have this snippet. If you have the Flutter extension, I think this one will be pre-installed with it. So click on enter. And super.dispose is the command that executes when any page in your Flutter app gets disposed. Like when user exits that page, when it is not in view, this is what is called super.dispose behind the scenes. And if you have nothing else to dispose, you don't have to write this dispose method because it's called like by default. Okay, but for now you have to dispose these two controllers. So I'll have this email controller dot dispose, and then we have password controller dot dispose, like that. And then you have the super dispose. Super is now for disposing of the whole page. Okay, so the first thing we have done is creating the controllers for the two text fields. Then we have to now create the two text fields. So very quickly inside the body, I'll have a column because I want them to be arranged vertically. Okay, then for the children, let's see. So inside this column, the first column is a text field. Of course, you want a text field over here, comma, and another text field like that. For the const, let me just ignore const for now because it is like distracting us from whatever we are doing for now. Okay, so we have a column and two text fields, and then we have a sign in button. So I'll use an outline button like that. So on press, let this be null for now, and then the child will be some text. So we'll have text, and this will be saying register, just like that. So I'll have up here, then I'll format this up. So as you can see, in our body, we just have a column and the text fields direct. And let me save this to one zitatokea wapi. Aha, nice. So you have this text field, and the register button over here. Although like it's kind of invisible, but we'll style it a little bit in a few. So I first want this not to be at the ends. So I'll wrap this column with some padding. Remember we said padding is the space that you want your inner widgets to keep off from the boundaries, from the inside of the boundaries. Okay, so I'll have a padding of, let's say, 20. Padding of 20. This is a UI class, so I'll just go fast about here. And then let's go now to for the main axis alignments of this column. I just want center, in axis alignment dot center, because I want these to be here. So when I save this, yeah, they have appeared down, I mean at the center of this screen. Now let's style up our first text field a little bit. So I'll first start with attaching the controller. So there is this controller property, and I'll have email controller like that. So this is the controller, the one that we created above. And then some decoration, maybe we'll have input decoration. For the input decoration, the first thing is the label text. The label text is the one that will appear here, like to tell the user that this is an email field. And I also want some border around. So border will have outline input border, just like that. Simple. Yeah, at least it has some border and some text to say this is the email. I don't want to decorate it much, so I'll just copy this and paste it here for the password very quickly. Password, and the controller is not the email, so I'll replace this with password controller. Yeah, like that. So I'll save. And yeah, You can see here like join, so I'll give a sized box. Have a sized box of height, let's say 20, the one that Copilot has suggested for me. So just have a comma. Yeah, you can see that exists little space. Let me, yeah, okay. I hope that one is, yeah, you can see that there is this padding that is specified of 20 all around. Then for the button, let's style it a little bit. So it has the style property. Then we say outlined border, outline button, not border, button, outline button dot style from, like this. Inside this style from is where now you'll provide things like the background color, where we have colors dot, let's say green. Let me save this. Yeah, you can see it has appeared green, and then you have the minimum size. Let's say size width of 300, the height of 50. Let's save this. Yeah, at least it looks a bit presentable. And then let's give some space. Hey, I'm really like designing it. I'm going far ahead with this. But yeah, I hope everyone like can see that this is just a register button, and we have to text field. So when I click on this, it will give me an option to enter anything, and then the password over here, and then now the button is where now we will have our logic over here. So on pressed, I'll now comment this like this. Yeah, so it's a function. So inside this on pressed property of the button is where now we'll add our method, the one that we saw from the Flutter. Where is this? From the documentation. This one, create user with email and password. Then we'll pass in the email and the password for controllers. So on pressed, first of all, let's check that the controllers are okay. So I'll just print. No, let's use debug print. Debug print. You'll have two debug print statements. Like that, and then I'll copy and paste. So debug print is like if you want to print something to your debug console, so that you can see if it's there or not. So the first thing that we'll do is debug printing the value inside the email controller. So we'll have email controller dot text, dot text, like that, and then we'll debug print the text in the password controller dot text. Text, supposed to be text. Yeah. So let me save this. So for the email, let me provide, let's say, vic at test.com. That's just some email. Just this, and then the password, I'll give something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So when I click this register button, it's supposed to print for me, to debug print for me these values, the value for the email controller and for the text controller, because these two texts are the ones that will pass to our method. So let's just confirm. So I'll clear the debug console, then click on this, and yeah, you can see these ones, they are printing. So it is fetching like the values from the text fields and attaching them to whenever you want to use them, that is the button. Okay. Yeah, so inside here, I want us to write this logic, and it is the logic that now will enable us to log in to create an account with Firebase. So I'll switch off my Copilot now. Let's disable completions for now. I'll turn it up back later. So the first thing is to make this asynchronous. Okay, a heads up here. This is not a recommended way to write functions. You should not mix your UI, like that is these widgets, with the logic, that is having Firebase functions inside here. it is normally done outside, like you have some files depending on the approach or the architecture that you choose to use in your Flutter application. There are files that you might want to create, let's say depending on the state management and you pick up that is responsible for doing all of this. But for now, we are just doing it here for just for demo purposes. But when you come to state management, when you learn some state management in the coming weeks, you will see how we can do this in a much more cleaner way, because this logic is a lot. Like you cannot mix it up with the UI, that is the decorating these buttons, the text fields, and also having the Firebase over here. Okay, but for now we'll just have it here direct when we press this button, and yeah, please don't do this like if it makes code like a little bit hard to read and debug, and okay, it's not the recommended approach. I'm just doing it here for like demo purposes. Okay, right, so I hope that is clear. So I'll create a dummy home page and it will navigate to if the login is success. So I'll have home.dat a file, and then import import material, import m, then stateless, just a stateless widget called homepage, like that, which will return a scaffold. This is just a dummy page with a simple app bar. The title will be a text saying welcome home, just like that. Okay, so we'll now navigate here when this login or sign up is successful. So let's come to our logic over here. Now, the first thing that you want to do is creating, sorry for this. The first thing that you want to do is importing your Firebase auth package, and then you will create an instance of Firebase auth over here as it is in our documentation. So you can see there is this Firebase auth.instance, the one that now will provide us with the create user with email and password method. So I'll start typing. So let's use a try catch block. You remember in our DAT session we talked about try catch. So try catch is basically a way of writing code such that all your logic is inside the try braces, and then if there is any error, it is forwarded to the catch block, which now you write whatever logic you want to be executed when something fails in the try here in the catch block. In our case, it will be just displaying a simple snack bar over here and telling the user about the error that has appeared. So I'll just have the user's snack bar. Oh, sorry, my phone just got disconnected. So let me first write this. So it is snack bar. It is scaffold messenger dot show dot off context first, then dot show snack bar. Okay, the snack bar being shown is a snack bar, just a snack bar. Content is text. I want the text, and it will just E is the error. This one, the one that the catch block called with. So that error will be shown as the context. It is saying this is an object, so I just have the toString method, error toString, and a comma, and a comma, and then a semicolon, like that. So I have written the code for the catch statement. Then now the login logic will come in the try section. So the first thing that you want to do is await, because as you can see, this is an asynchronous function, so you have to await it. So let me just copy this actually, because it is as simple as that. I'll paste it here. And yeah, it is complaining because we have not imported the Firebase auth. And then the email will just clear that, and the password will just clear that. Okay. So for yeah. So this is the method. It is inside this try block, and the method is firebase auth.instance.create user with email and password. And as you can see, it has this await, so it is a future method. That means the execution of all this code will will first have to wait for this to be done. And then for the email, we'll pass in now the text from the controller. Remember the controller? Yeah, so we'll have email controller dot text like that. And then for the password, you'll do the same. That is password controller dot text. Simple. Okay. So when I save this, they will align properly. So you can see all the code over here. So inside the on pressed of this button, we have the try and the catch. Okay. And then inside the try section, we have this, the one that you have copied from the documentation. But for the email and the password, we are passing in now our values from the controllers. And then we want now to go ahead and write some extra logic over here at the end of this method that will give us now what, after you've done this, whatever is returned, it is of type user credential, as you can see over here. So this is some user credential, and you can then now navigate. Let's say we'll just navigate to home with those credentials. So at the end of this await section, we have a dot. When you click on dot, when you add a dot there, you'll see some methods over here. Dot then, dot when complete, for when this function is completed, dot timeout, dot on error, dot catch error. But we don't need to catch all these errors because it's already in the try catch block. So you'll use this dot then. So dot then. So when this function will get executed, it will return with a value. And as I have told you, the value is of type user credential. Okay. What do you want it to do? So I'll just have these braces over here. I will have that then. So if let's see this value. So navigate. So we'll have our navigator here. Navigator dot of context dot push. What are we pushing? We are pushing the material page route. Then we have the builder, which adds some context, and then you provide the page that you want to push to. In our case, it's the home page, the one that you have created. So this is how we navigate from one page to another using this navigator of context.push. So it has some methods like push. You can have push replacement. Push replacement is whereby this page is completely removed, and then the page that you pass is shown on the screen, and you cannot navigate back to this page. But when you leave it as push, when you navigate to the home page, it will have a back icon over here that shows that when you click on it, you'll come back to this page. But if it is push replacement, this page will be disposed of completely, and then the home page will be shown. So yeah, that is how we navigate to pages. If you did the challenge about the project that you had last week, in the one we had, the housing, the houses, and then the details page, you might have come you might have come across this navigation function. Yeah. So let's run this one again. Then we'll try to authenticate. What happens is this one will create the user with email and password. Then, just as the method says, it will come back with this value, assuming there is no error, because the error will be sent to this catch block. So then the value, which is of type user credential, after getting this value, we'll navigate, we'll get dot push replacement to our home page, the one that you created here, just a dummy welcome home page. Okay, but if there is any error, you will see this scaffold snack bar over here, and the message, the content of it will be the error to string. I can see there is an error already, but this one is from compiling. So what went wrong? What is this? That's JS. So there is an import I've made that is not supposed to be here. Yeah, this one. Okay. I hope that now it runs. Meanwhile, anyone with a question, because I think when I finish this, will be through. So anyone with an issue should be. I hope there is no time that I disappeared. I hope all of you can hear me now from the end. Okay. Awesome. So Copilot una enable urge. So you just come here and click on this and then enable completions. But for now, I've just disabled it because I wanted to have these ones typed. So Copilot is like an AI that helps you to write tedious code. Like come to create all these controllers. You can just have this comment and then it will create for you the controllers. It has been trained on numerous code bases that it can autocomplete it for you. And yeah, you can get it for free if you are a student. So you go to GitHub and search GitHub Students Pack. Yeah, then you'll have to prove that you're a student. You have an image of your school ID and stuff, and then they'll just activate it for you for your account for free. Otherwise, if you're not a student, you can have it for I think $14. Yeah, but it really helps a lot, like with like creating these text fields. You just decorate one, then give it a comment, and then it will generate for you all the ones that you want. Yeah. So we have our logic ready. You have our app running. So let's test it. And I really hope that it runs on the first try, because that is the happiness of any developer. So we'll have Vic at test.com. Password will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And before I run this, I want to clear my debug console so that in case of any, you can just see. So you can just debug print. Where's the button? So over here, we can debug print the error, debug print E to string. So this is how, like, you if you want to check or if you want to track down anything that is happening in your app, it is advisable to print it to the console. We can debug print what this value, the user credentials that are being returned over here. So you'll have debug print value. Yeah, like that. The argument of type user credential cannot be printed, so you just have value dot to string. It will try to convert it to something that can be printed. I hope these ones will really help us in case there is an error. So yeah, let's click on this. I really hope that it is. There is an error over here. So this operation is not allowed. This may be because the given sign-in operator is disabled for this project. Enable it in the Firebase under the sign-in methods of the AB. Okay, let's check. I think we built it. Yeah. Oh, I took a save. Sorry. When you enable this, you should save it, and then it will come here in the list of your providers. I'm really sorry for this. So let's restart our application. Yeah, at least we are on the right track. Let's see. Restarted the application. So I can type in vic at test.com. Then we have password 12345 and 6. Let me dismiss the keyboard and clear the content and then register. Nice. We are authenticated, and we have, as you can see, we have navigated to the home page, the one that we created. Then the debug print of the value should be somewhere. This is the user. So this is the value, the user credential that is returned from this sign in create user with email and password method. This one, all of this. So we have, sorry, yeah, let me highlight it. So we have user info, the profile, these are null, username is null, this is null, the user, the email is vic test, is anonymous, false, the metadata over here, the last signing time, phone number is null, profile, all this, the password, I don't know, the password is encrypted, then you have the UID. Okay, so but now we are authenticated. So if you want to check if your user is appearing in your console, so just come here to the users tab under the authentication, and nice, you'll see this one, vic at test.com is here, the dates that they signed in, the date that they created the account, and their user ID. So the next thing that you might want to do is now to save these details to the database, which is Firestore database. Okay, so let's do that quickly, very quickly, because these two operations, like, they go hand in hand. You want, when your user authenticates, you want to take their data. Mostly in the register page, there is not only the email and the password text fields. Okay, there is usually the, let's say, the name, phone number. So I'll quickly add the name, the username and the phone number text fields, and then we will also add the Firebase Firestore package for that. So let's have final phone number controller, phone controller is equals to text editing controller. I'll do it very fast. Controller, and then what else? Phone, and then the email. Let's say the email, just the email. So we have final, sorry, email controller should be small, email controller. Not email, sorry, username, sorry, user controller is equals to text editing controller, like that. And then I'll have to dispose both of these also from controller.dispose and username controller.dispose. Thank you. Scroll where we have our text fields, and above the email, I'll just copy these two. Then I'll add it over here like that, and twice. The first one is the username, user controller. The label text is username. Sorry. The next one will be phone. Sorry, phone controller. Phone controller. The label is phone number. Enter your phone number, basically. Then you have the email, password. So if I save this, yeah, you can see our text fields over here, the username, phone number, email, and password. So we want, when you register, when you click on this register, first it will authenticate the email and the password. And then when this is successful, it will take all of this data and save it to Firestore. Okay, so I'm now introducing us to the second Firebase product, that is the Firestore database. So what is Firestore database? So quickly we'll come here to the Firestore. So it supports like it is a NoSQL database whereby you create collections and documents to store our data, and it supports things like querying and real-time updates of data, whereby you can create streams and update your data instantly. Okay, so click on and create database. Then next, you might want to start this in test mode, whereby it will allow you to write for now, but it gives you like maximum of 30 days. And then it switches to production mode, whereby writing is false. You can only read. But for now, you'll just do test mode. So I'll click on create. I hope there is no issue. I can't wait to implement password complexity and valid email checks. Yeah. All that is about. Why is it that you don't use the all sample code used to implement the email password? You have only used the first 3 lines. Okay, so if I go back to where I was reading, they basically had this try catch. So this like a try catch block of theirs, only that they have this on Firebase exception block over here. This one is checking for weak passwords if email is already in use, and other checks down here. But in the try, which is what I copied, is the one that we wanted to focus on, the create user with email and password method. You can now implement all these checks. Basically, these ones now depend on the error that is returned. So if the error says weak password, you can now display to the user a snack bar saying weak password. If it is email already in use, like that. If it is not a valid email and all those other errors, you can now like implement them over here. So if I go back to our code, sikuna hapa, the catch, this one. So after you catch this E, you can now have that if else block over here inside here, depending of now on the E that you get the error. So you can have if error has reads email is already in use, you can now display a custom snack bar. But for the context of like using this create user with email and password method, I just had it just have one scaffold snack bar to just display the error. But you can now go ahead and implement the other logic here. But the main focus was this one, the method to create the user with email and password. I hope that is clear. Okay, so I wanted us to implement this one quickly. Where are we? Look, we were on the console. So I was explaining the file. So yeah, so this is where now you have your database. So you create collections over here. Then you can have a users collection. You can maybe have, let's say, payments collection, depending on the data that you want. And then inside a collection, you have documents. So you inside the user collection, you can have now a document for each user. So document for user one. The name of that document can be the user ID, the one that each specific user has under this authentication. Kama hii, the UID, the user ID. It can be the name of the document, because there's no way two users can have the same UID. It's really a big number. Like it's a wide, it's a big it's a big number, such that there's no two users can have the same user ID. So that is the one that we use inside the Firestore database to identify a document per user. So inside the users collection, you can have now all those documents for each user. And one document over here will be divided now into the another data. When you implement it, you'll see it easy. So we will come to our .then function over here. And so the user has authenticated successfully, and you have these user credentials. We now want to do what? Before we navigate over here, so I'll just delete this navigator. Before we navigate, we want now to take all this data and add it to Firebase, to Cloud Firestore, our database. Okay, so what do? We have this value. Let's see. we say uh, Firebase Firebase firestore.instance Firebase firestore.instance. Okay, just like the way we had Firebase out.instance, so we have Firebase Firestore now. This one is possible because we have imported the Firebase Firestore package. Not this one, but this one, the Cloud Firestore package. Remember, we added it PubSpec YAML. Senye tulikuwa tume command shift P. So if you don't have it, you must add it first in your pubspec.yaml so that you can get this instance over here. So Firebase Firestore instance dot collection. So the collection, you specify the path. I want to name my collection users. So this is a collection that will carry the data of all users. And then dot doc. The doc now is the document, the name of the document, the one we have said that it is for specific user. So in our case, I want this value, which is the credential. So I'll just read to credentials, credentials. Okay, the ones that are returned from this create user that are passed over here. So I have credentials dot user dot id. That's not id, I mean uid. This one. So this is where is it? If I go to then is this one uid, the one that is returned from this create user with email and password method over here. I need to add a null check over there. And yeah, after this, we have now selected first of all, we have selected the collection. We have added the collection users, and then we have had this document and we have named it the UID of that specific user. It is coming from this create user with email and password. And then now we have this set method, that set. And now this is where we add the data, all the data that you want, and we add the data as map string dynamic. So you have key value pairs, okay? And remember how we were doing with that? Yeah, it is using these ones, curly braces. Okay, so I'll have a semicolon at the end for formatting, then I'll come here. So inside this is where now we'll provide our data. So the first thing that you want to have, so the first key is UID, of course, then a column, and we have this one. The UID is this of that user. Okay, like that. The second thing that you want now to pass is, let's say the username. The username is username controller. Remember, you have the username controller. Now you pass in you pass in the details that have been entered from these controllers now. So username user controller dot text, like that. Then you have the email. Sorry, it's supposed to be a key, so it's a string. The key is email. The value is email controller dot text again. The third one is phone. Phone. We have phone controller dot text. You're not supposed to add the password over here because you'll be storing the password as raw text, which is not a good practice. Let Google handle about storing the password. So you just have to store this data zenye unataka sasa they appear. So we have done this, and we have now set the information. See, I think we are now done. So at the end of this, you have the .then method. From here now, when this is done, the then method is called when this feature completes. So after this, we now want to have our navigator. Okay, so what do? We have navigator dot of context the push. Let's do push replacement. Okay, this page will be pushed out, and then the home page will be added. So we have the builder, push replacement, material page root first, and the builder will give us context. The context will return page. Okay, home page like that, comma, 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 Control Shift I for formatting, and yeah, so everything comes under this. Okay, so I hope you can now flow like from the try. We have first run this create user with email and password method. We have at the end we have added this then, and this comes with some credentials. The user credentials are coming from this method. They are the result of this method. And then now inside this then we have Firebase Firestore.instance. This is coming from the Cloud Firestore package, the one that we have imported over here, this one. Okay, and then collection, you specify the collection that you want data to go. Yes, we have named it users. Inside the users, we want a document that is specific to this user. Okay, so this is how NoSQL databases work. Yeah, we use collections and documents basically, and the name of document is the UID. The UID is coming from the credentials, these ones, the one that come from the create user with email and password. So credentials.user.uid, and you have now set the document. You use this .set method, which accepts a map of key value things. So after here, now you can set all the key value data you want to send to our database. That is an authenticated user. The UID, we have passed in the same UID, the username from the controller, the email from the controller, and from the controller. Then at the end of this iteration, we have the final dot then. It comes with its value, and okay, it's just a void value because this is not returning anything. It's basically just setting, so the value is nothing, void. And we now have our navigator function, and it's navigating to our homepage. So when you see our homepage, after this, we'll know that all these stages have been crossed. And when you go to our console, we will see the data. But if there is any error, it will be forwarded to the catch block. It will be displayed using the snack bar. So let's restart this. And I really hope that this runs and it can be a successful session. Okay, so let's give it a shot. So the username, let's do Vicky. Phone number, just anything, 0712345667. Of course, there is also the validation of all these things, like making sure that they're not empty, maybe there are no text in numbers and all those stuff, but that is the UI. I'll leave that to you as part of the UI. So the email vic at testing, I believe vic at test is used. So I'll do testing.com, password 123456. Okay, so let me pull up this debug console. Then I click on register. Let's see. Nice. Very nice. So we are navigated to home, meaning all of this has been successful. And let's verify it in our console. So first of all, I will refresh this, and you can see a new user is created, vic.testing.com, and this is the UID, ZSU and whatever. At least authentication is done. Then you come to the Firestore database, and you will, if it is successful, nice. So a user's collection has been created. Then a document has been created inside the user's collection. The name of this document is the UID, the one that you have seen from the authentication side. And then we now have our map of key value pairs containing the information from the inside this document, the one that you have set from the controllers. That is the email, the phone, UID, and the username. So that is successful. Yeah, I feel so nice about it. I hope that was as clear as possible about adding all these Firebase products. Basically, you can see how it is easy to configure your project to Firebase and access these methods. They're basically just direct methods with everything done. You just have to plug in the values that they require. If it is the email and the password, you just add the email and password. Then all these other things, you'll do them uh, the way you want them to be done in your application. Again, I will strengthen the point that it is not this logic is not supposed to be here inside this outline button on press method. This logic for like adding this authenticating and sending the data to Firestore, it's supposed to be written elsewhere, like at least not in the UI code. Based on the architecture that you choose or the state management option that you take, hiyo sasa ndio itakuguide on how you will separate your files. I know we have not reached there yet. That's why I just had this directly on the on pressed. But when you look at state management, we'll see how we can separate these logics from the UI code. But for now, I really hope that you are now somewhere ahead, whereby you can now start experimenting with Firebase and yeah, in your applications. Okay, so questions. I can wait, implement password complexity and validate email checks. Yeah, we have said that is possible. I can now see, and do we have a code where the user is asked to create new password? Yeah, sure. Inside this, we have things like, where is this? Uh, create email and password. Mm, where is this from the documentation? There are there are methods for that. Verifying email user email address. There is, where is this? I saw this somewhere. Manage users. I don't think it's under manage users. Create a user. Create user with email password. We have uh, getting current user, update profile, setting a user's email address, sending user verification email. Okay, there are all these methods that you are, that are supported. You will just go through them and you'll find the one that you're setting a user's password, sending a password reset email, deleting a user, re-authenticating, all those. I believe you are talking about this one, setting and resetting a password. Yeah, it is just one method. Firebase out.instant dot send password reset, and then you provide the email. I believe this one you can now fetch it email controller in your UI, and then you pass this one. Simple. And email will be sent. A real email will be sent to Gmail of that email you may provide. And yeah, you can even customize the email. You can create your own email template, a nice one with your logo and all those text in it to the user. Yeah, Firebase is really like helpful to Flutter developers to get these backend solutions. So, does it mean at the moment when the user logs in and the data stored in Firestore will be the password used to check with the preceding ones if they are correct? No. We have this. Where was I? So in this password authentication, see, we have used this create user with email and password. This one is used in the register screen. We have used this in the register screen, but now you'll have a long screen where we have the sign in with email and password method. Apart from this create, this is create. There's now this sign in with email and password. It takes in the email and password. This one will now check if first this email is registered, if the password you have provided is the one that is registered, if the email is already in use, if the user is not found, the wrong password, and all those checks, they are done by this second method. So for now, we have just used create user with email and password. Google will store the passwords and the emails side by side. When you want to check, when you want to log in, you'll just hit this method with the email and the password, and you'll be done. It will check for you because it's as earlier said, all these things are implemented already by Google, so you don't have to worry what happens about checking the passwords. And you just have to hit this method with the current email and password, and yeah, leave it to Firebase to cross check. Okay, I hope that is answered. There is nowhere where us developers interact with the password of the user. That's why I even told you that it is not advisable to store it alongside the data here, because sasa itakuwa ya nini? It's actually a risk, because if someone gets hold of this database, they will get the passwords of these users. But Google already through Firebase just has a way. Even myself as an admin of this project, I cannot see the passwords. You can never see the passwords anywhere, because the only options that I have is to disable, delete, or reset password for any account in here, but I cannot view the password. Okay, so you just leave that to Google and they will implement it for you. So to factor in that, I will have to key in the two methods. Do you know, like, okay, see the one I have demonstrated here, let me restart this app. See, you know what happens is, in the authentication flow, you have a page like this. Okay, these are welcome, let's register you page. Okay, but down here you see, like, apps normally have, you are already a member, login. Okay, so when you hit this button, you'll be directed to another screen like this, but aina easy kina username and phone number. It's just an email password field. Okay, so in that button is where now you will hit the second method that I've shown you there, sign in with email and password. This one assumes that already this person has created an account before. Now they want to just log back in. Okay, but in our case, we were just creating a new one. I really hope that is clear. You don't have to keep the two methods in the same page, because one is for creating, that is the ring user, and the second one is for logging in. I'm assigning in the user. And all apps, I think, zenye ziko na hii email and password, they have these two options. You either go to the login and then they ask you that you are not a member, create an account, or you open up to this register page and then there is a page like already a member, just log in. So you hit this, you hit those methods depending on which page or where you want, or the operation that you want to take undertake at that particular time. I hope that is clear. So do you need to use await while sending data to database? I don't think. Yeah. We had this collection await. Is this a future? The set? Yeah, it's a future. So we had to use await. But either way, okay, yeah, we need to use await over here, but I don't think it will agree something there. Await can only be used in an async function. I can make this async. I don't know why. Yeah, but either way, we use this dot then, and dot then will run if this one is completed, because as you can see, the documentation of this dot then says it registers a callback to be called when this feature completes. So either way, it had to wait for the completion of this operation, but you can make it async and await And this will come in handy, especially when you separate this logic from the UI. The async await, you'll see it because navigation will be happening before your data is set, and then there'll be some error. So it's good to make it async and await because the set method is a future. Okay, yeah. So thank you for that heads up. It has to be like this. Uh-huh. It's now clear. Yeah, thank you. So I think it's good if we can end it there. Much for joining in, and I hope this has been a very educative session. Next week we will now go deep into Firebase again, and this time we will be using models. We will now look at how to bundle this into models. You create a class, and then you pass in this, whereby we have to map. This is a map, but imagine you have a lot of fields over here mixed with maybe a list of maybe user interest and all those complex data types. You cannot type them all over here. You need a model for a user, something like a user model, and then you convert it to a map so that it can be easily sent to the database. And yeah, hopefully by then we will now have even two screens or three screens. That is the login, sign up, forgot password maybe to reset to send the reset email. Yeah, so that it now like mimics a whole full stack application. For now, I just wanted to introduce you to Firebase, and I hope you have seen how simple it is to use Firebase. You can now explore on your own like these methods over here in the documentation, and it will be very much helpful for that. So I hope. Mhm. So remember to leave a simple assignment. Okay, so I will deploy this code to GitHub if you are too heavy. Then the assignment will be now to you have to create that. You should have a text over here yenye inasema already a member, login. So when you click on this, it should navigate the user to a login page whereby you'll just have two text fields. So you'll create a login page file over here and design a simple UI with email and password and a login button. And for that, you'll have to hit now this sign in with email and password method. To hit here create, but now for the login page, you have to hit this login with email and password. And the second thing is must know how to uh, validate this. Like for now, nikifinya register ikiwa empty, it will just attempt to register. But in real apps huwa zikuangi hivyo, you submit something empty and they will show something reddish over here like please enter your username. Yeah, it's called a validator. So you can check on how to validate these text fields and then create that login page. And I hope to see your submissions for group. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I really thank you for attending. I can see it's already 22 minutes past 10, and I hope we can call it a night from here if no one else has an issue. Tunaweza kafungia hapo leo. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Titus, the Flutter lead from Karatina. I think if you're still in, you can greet us kabla tuende. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining. The link, I think, will be sent, the YouTube. We were live on YouTube, so a link will be sent to the group whereby you can revisit this again at your own pace so that it will be easier for you. Yeah, thank you. So, Titus, unaweza maybe tusalimia kabla we end. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome. Titus, if you're there, Yeah. You're using your phone. Okay. I don't know. I don't know mahali phone kwa phone hukua. Okay. Okay. Haina shida. Don't worry. We'll catch up. Ama,
Naona ameadmit. I think you can just talk.
yeah. Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Mnanisikia?
We can
Oh.
hear you.
Yeah, I was saying manze, this has been a very, very informative session. Najua
Yeah.
tumeenjoy. Alafu sijui nini mbaya na sisi- vile tuliingia group nisahau kujiintroduce. Tuliingia tu